I'm going to talk to you about the power of positive thinking as a catalyst in the digital age. What is positive mental attitude and its relevance to auditors? And why is it important? Positive mental attitude is a mindset that sees opportunity in every challenge. You embrace continuous learning. You remain resilient in the face of adversity. For auditors, PMA is essential because auditing is about what? Precision, accountability, ensuring compliance in the world of evolving risks. Develop this mindset of, some people call it excessive optimism. Some people call it being an inverse paranoid. You know, the opposite of paranoia, inverse. Some people call it eternal optimism. This is the kind of attitude that you need. That is the background software that you need in terms of an operating system to navigate and to succeed. And as I said, it's talked about in the book of Hebrews at chapter 11 in greater detail. And I say to my mentees that Bible is an entrepreneurship manual, and I'm able to demonstrate to you in the Bible there are more than 2,300 references to money and to resources.
This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower intrapreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond.
Mangadi now. You're unstoppable, I get it. I'm unstoppable. You may take your seats. I agree, you are unstoppable. This song is a song that I use when I bring in my mentees. I have two mentorship programs, one on real estate and another one on entrepreneurship. So I like the fact that you need to fool your mind a little bit, even when you're a little unsure about yourself, even when you're experiencing a thing called imposter syndrome. You need to work on your mind and fool it a little bit. But I can't take a chance. As a lawyer, I can't take a chance that my talk is going to be successful. So I want to make a deal with you. I'm going to share with you a joke. Just to avoid me leaving here embarrassed and ashamed and miserable, let's have a deal. Please laugh, nevertheless. The joke will be at your expense, by the way. A story is told of a woman who goes not feeling terribly well to see a doctor, right? Then the doctor, after a thorough examination, tells the woman, "You have only 6 months to live." Obviously, the woman is struck with fear. She's petrified. 6 months only, doc? And the doctor says, "Oh, yes, you have only 6 months, madam." And then she says to the doctor, "What shall I do? What are my options?" The doctor answers, "Marry an auditor." What? Marry an auditor. Then she asks, "Will that make me live longer?" The doctor answers, "No, but it will seem longer." So that's at your expense. Sorry, those who are offended by that joke, I apologize. Ladies and gentlemen, the name is as you see it on the board. I want to talk to you and I really want to talk to you about something a little deep that I believe that you'll benefit from. You have over the past few days, and you will be tomorrow too, been bombarded by tons and tons of useful information. Am I right or am I right? Right. Okay. Since we are now in a political season, the elections in South Africa early this year, we are electing our legislators next month, right? In America, they are electing their president in November. So it's a political season. It's a bit silly. So in Botswana, at the Freedom Square, they say the following. They say, halala to something. So just to make sure you don't fall asleep, since it's late in the afternoon, I am going to occasionally be saying halala to make sure you're up. So let's say, listen to me, halala, I-A, halala. Okay, let's start. Halala, I-A. Ah, that's not loud enough. Halala, I. I made a mistake. Halala, I. You know, am I nervous or what? Halala, I. Halala, I. Oh yeah, no, then, and if I say something that resonates during the course of our talk, just remind me. What I want to talk about is PMA in essence. What is PMA? PMA is positive mental attitude. I think of PMA as the operating system, as in the software that manages your computer and hardware resources. As a human being, you need some sort of software at the back. You need an operating system which enables you to achieve what you want to achieve, which enables you to process tons and tons of information. In fact, I like a word that my son likes to use. My son studied psychology. He says you have to absorb sometimes a gargantuan amount of information. So I'm sure you agree with me that during the course of this conference, you absorbed what? A gargantuan amount of information. You need to have that operating system, right? And what is PMA? PMA was originally mentioned by a gentleman called Napoleon Hill, and he wrote about it in a 1937 book called Think and Grow Rich. And other people like Norman Vincent Peale also wrote about it, and W. Clement Stone. So it is a concept that is really been repackaged. But if you think about it, it's really a very old concept. Because when I analyzed it, I found that when you go to Hebrews 11 in the Bible, which talks about faith, at the end of the day, if you analyze what the Bible is talking about, it is talking about a positive mental attitude. So, I'm going to talk to you about the power of positive thinking as a catalyst in the digital age. What is positive mental attitude and its relevance to auditors? And why is it important? Positive mental attitude is a mindset that sees opportunity in every challenge. You embrace continuous learning. You remain resilient in the face of adversity. For auditors, PMA is essential because auditing is about what? Precision, accountability, ensuring compliance in the world of evolving risks. Again, the meticulous nature of auditing work coupled with rapid digitization can be overwhelming. If you are with me, say, Allah, Allah. So, auditors are equipped with a positive, if auditors are equipped with a positive mindset, they can navigate complexities and adapt to new technologies and uncover innovative solutions, governance, risk, and compliance. So in this talk, I'm going to try and share some of what I do. I'm not going to just be talking theory. I'm going to talk to you about what me and companies that I run, because I happen to be fortunate enough to be running companies that are employing close to 200 individuals across many sectors. And the sort of things that I'm going to discuss are things that I practice on a day-to-day, and hopefully someone will pick something as I talk about this. Its relevance to auditors and what I think you can do to galvanize it, or as it were, to weaponize it for your benefit. If you like that, say hala. In an industry where one little mistake can have significant consequences, you can really have devastating results with one mistake. So it's important that you have a positive outlook. It will foster for you a proactive attitude, turning obstacles into opportunities for improvement and growth. Let me share with you a little bit about my journey. And in case I'm not able to tell you enough, little bit of a shameless plug, I've put it all in this book. The book retails for 350 pula. Once a salesman, always a salesman. Entrepreneurs are salesmen, so forgive me. The book retails for 350 pula. It's available at Exclusive Books. I share my life story in this book, and some of the concepts that I touch on, I practicalize in my life. I've actually recorded in the book. So this is, for those who are taking notes, I'm going to share with you 10 nuggets. And guess why I'm talking about nuggets? Some of you might know that my program on YouTube is called Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom. I'm a podcaster. I've been a podcaster for the last 6 years. I interview entrepreneurs, and Rakhamwenyane, who was here before, has appeared on my program at least 6 times. If you want more insights about what he was sharing, you can go to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. And a little bit of a shameless plug, those who are yet to hit the subscribe button, by show of hands. So if you haven't struck that subscribe button, it's very simple. You go to YouTube even as I'm talking and type Mogobe Nuggets. It will appear at the top and you press subscribe. I want to see an explosion. Say hala. Yeah, okay. My journey starts in the humble village of Kanye, under the guidance of 2 cattle posts. When I say guidance, I used to visit those cattle posts. There I learned life's greatest lessons often come from the most unexpected places, and that you need resilience, determination, and resourcefulness. Born from these experiences of mine as a head boy. First thing I get then I ended up the late Nono for Mogobe. So I developed in the cattle post certain values which have relevance, which, as you will see during the course of this talk, develop this mindset of, some people call it excessive optimism. Some people call it being an inverse paranoid. You know, the opposite of paranoia, inverse. Some people call it eternal optimism. This is the kind of attitude that you need. That is the background software that you need in terms of an operating system, to navigate and to succeed. And as I said, it's talked about in the book of Hebrews at chapter 11 in greater detail. And I say to my mentees that Bible is an entrepreneurship manual. And I'm able to demonstrate to you in the Bible, there are more than 2,300 references to money and to resources. And for that reason, there's no reason as Christians why we should be struggling. Again. Yeah, okay. So you need that attitude of resilience, determination, and so on, which I define as grit in my book. Grit, G-R-I-T. If you want to learn more about this concept, there's a woman who's written a book called Grit, who writes extensively about it. I'll share with you additional information on this subject later. Number 2, education and professional growth. Education and professional growth. My pursuit of advanced degrees in law and property and in alternative dispute resolution. One of my areas of specialization is alternative dispute resolution, which is arbitration and mediation. My pursuit of those degrees was all a part of this kind of mindset. At Mogobe Incorporated, the company that I run, we use cutting-edge software such as Sage Pastel. Who uses Sage Pastel here? You mean I'm that ancient? Khalid is a Pastel. Okay, what do you use? QuickBooks. What software do you use in your accounting systems? Hey, oh, I'm pronouncing it wrong. He's saying Sage has a Sage. Apologies. Nagib is a Sage. Nobody has corrected me until now. This is to ensure compliance with Botswana's tax regulations and to mitigate risks and to optimize our operations. Digital transformation demonstrates how a positive mindset. Like by generation, we are very difficult to teach. In fact, I dare say I'm the only person who's approaching their 60th birthday. Among our group, we have a massive WhatsApp group of people who finished at GSS around my time. Among my group, all my former schoolmates are just surprised. What are you doing on TikTok? What are you doing on Facebook? Why are you updating your WhatsApp status? What they can't compute. When we have these get-togethers, you know, these reunions, it's 81 by the way, it's from 5. Every time we have the reunion, it's my 81. Hey, it's a problem. Some of us don't want to leap into the digital age, and we actively resist it. So I'm arguing that you need to change that mindset, that operation system that guides you and dictates your actions. Number 3, the nuggets, 10. So this is number 3. Leadership and entrepreneurship. As the CEO and founder of Mogobe Incorporated, my success, my modest success, I have to add that part. My modest success is a testament to the power of a positive mindset and hard work. Leading a company in today's digitized world requires continuous adaptation, as you've already picked up from this conference. And by embracing tools like Microsoft 365 and Clio for our law firm, I still own the law firm that I started in 1991. This law firm has been running now for well over in excess of 3 decades. I still run it. We use these platforms as instruments for maintaining compliance with legal standards, ensuring efficient risk management, and also enhancing our debt collection function. By the way, there's a little known secret in legal circles that debt collection is the key. And for you to be able to be a good debt collector, I mean, you can't just rely on litigation and you can't just rely on conveyancing. You need to have good debt collection systems, and that's where technology comes in. There are all kinds of technologies that are specifically tailor-made for debt collection that I can't go to in this talk. So I want to emphasize the idea of perseverance in law. Why am I emphasizing this? I believe that you don't need to get rid of something that is giving you income. I believe in the idea of MSI. Ask me what that means. Multiple streams of income or multiple sources of income. So my argument is that even as you grow, you don't need to dump the initial thing that got you where you were. I got to where I was because of law, so I was able to to use the law firm as a vehicle to enhance the other businesses. For instance, the law firm does our conveyancing in terms of transfers. The law firm does our debt collection still to this day. The law firm does our litigation still to this day, and it's only a floor above us. So we integrate the activities of the property company, which is my main source of income, with the activities of the law firm through the use of technology, through the use of what I keep emphasizing to you, which is a positive mental attitude and mindset. So the law, as you know, is a very competitive field. It is a highly competitive field. In fact, in America, when I was working there, I worked for a law firm in the Washington, D.C. When I was pursuing my master's degree, I worked for a law firm called Pepper, Hamilton and Cheese. And the story there was that unless your law firm has at least 50 partners, this was 3 decades ago, unless the law firm has at least 3 partners, it has no chance of being competitive and winning. This is where now it's important, and I keep saying this to young lawyers, you cannot do it alone. If you have a one-man business, you will not last very long. I was lucky when I was running Lerumo Mogobe, which was then the largest indigenous law firm at the time, that we had 9 lawyers operating. And those days, that was considered to be a large firm. So I'm arguing to you that positive thinking is what allows professionals not only to meet but exceed expectations. Let me give a small example. You come in the morning, you have a highly contested case, you believe in the strength of your case, but you have a judge who's sitting there in the podium who has that look sneering at you. You make your argument, he keeps, is that all, Mr. Mogobe? Why don't you move to your next point? Do you want to tell me that I will be persuaded? So it takes a special type of lawyer. It takes someone with that positive mindset to meet a hostile lawyer at 9 o'clock and to say, my lord, I beg you, my lord, with all the earnestness that I can master, just allow me to make my client's argument. To be able to do that and to be able to get someone who was hostile at 9 o'clock to weigh him down such that around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, he's nodding heavily in your favor. At 9 o'clock, you have a decision in your favor. Takes a remarkable amount of a positive mental attitude. I don't know if there are any lawyers here. Hey, Mr. Kuda, positive mental attitude. You can win any case if you have prepared, if you have a positive mental attitude. And the same goes for every discipline. That's what I want to argue. It has to do with that operating system that governs everything. If you are grumpy, if you are quick to say, that has never worked before, people come to you, youngsters come to you with suggestions. Who have you ever seen that? Do you have a positive mental attitude? If you do that, you are grumpy and negative. And part of the reason why we are not getting anywhere, I remember Mr. Kangwanyan expressing frustration. You remember earlier he was saying that. We need to work on that internal thermostat, adjust it from negative mental attitude to positive mental attitude. Until and unless we do that deliberately, consciously, like other societies have done. When I interviewed him in Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast, Mr. Kangwanyan, why are we failing? He says, other societies are doing it deliberately. I said, give examples. He says, in Dubai, they have a Ministry of Happiness. In Singapore, they've had a Ministry of Happiness forever. Have they? Think about it. All societies that are doing well will either have a Ministry of Happiness or have a department that helps towards doing that. And I applaud His Excellency the President. Not so long ago, 2 years ago, he established the Ministry of Entrepreneurship. Maybe it is a sign. Sooner or later, we may have a Ministry of Happiness. Hala, hala. Hala, hala. I-I-A. Hala, hala. I-I-A. Hala, hala. Okay. I think this conference will be remembered as a halala conference, eh? Now, investment and continuous learning. This is the part where I now decided diversifying our risks, and I was happy to see the gentleman from Botswana Stock Exchange here. When I started my investment journey in a serious way around 2020, they had a thing called Bank of Botswana certificates. Bank of Botswana certificates was an instrument that Bomamohotwa came up with, where because they said there was, I don't know whether they say there were excess liquidity or what, but they needed to mop up liquidity in the system, right? So with these Bank of Botswana certificates, you could put an amount that you have in a trust account, for instance, and leave it with Bank of Botswana, and that amount will grow at then those days it was 12%. Can you believe it? Okay, so I don't want to lie, I took full advantage of that through that approach to investment, and it did lead to what Mr. Kengwanyane describes as 10x growth, exponential growth. So as an investor in stocks and real estate, I'm committed to continuous learning. The beautiful thing about teaching youngsters as I mentor them in real estate is that as you prescribe a real estate book, you're also learning and reading it yourself. Mr. Kengwanyane told you about reading 15 pages a day. I have a similar approach as well. So it is very, very important to embrace. So for auditors, before I hit you with another joke at your expense, for auditors, ongoing education is indeed a positive approach. And I like the fact that the numbers are still fairly serious this time of the day. Some other conferences I've attended, when it gets to this matter, this time, especially when it is the employer who's paying for the conference, the attendance is not like this. So give a round of applause for yourself. Turn to your neighbor and say, congratulations for staying the course. Yes, it's very important that we encourage each other. And by the way, this positive mental attitude that I'm talking about does not happen by itself. You need to work on it. You need to have incantations. You need to have affirmations. You need to completely tell yourself. You need to face that mirror and say, I'm the best effing auditor that ever lived. Oh, I'm not allowed to say that, even if I'm editing it. Again, I'm the best auditor that ever lived every morning. And then repeat that to yourself. So you need to convince yourself through those series of incantations and tell yourself through that process. Okay? So for auditors, ongoing education and positive approach to embracing new technology is very vital. And AI-driven analysis or real-time data tools such as MetaTrader are essential for success. You notice that when I come to MetaTrader, I'm hesitating. That's because I haven't myself mastered how to use it. But my team, I'm fortunate to say I have a powerful team. On the digital space alone, we have about 9 youngsters. Some of them are running around who record what we do, who create the content, who are busy boosting the podcast every day of the week. In fact, we have a minimum policy. Our minimum policy is that we create 7 pieces of content a day. I create 7 pieces of content a day. Look to your neighbor. How many pieces do you create a day? Pieces of content on social media a day. I post 7 a day. How many? Ask your neighbor, how many do you post? Imagine if you had to adopt this kind of system, what you would do to your bottom line. Huh? When was the last time, sir, you updated your LinkedIn page? Let me ask you. When was the last time you updated your LinkedIn page? 2 weeks back. That's far too long. That's ancient history. What about you? What about Facebook? Huh? Okay, you should be. You should be. If the objective is to 10x, unless Mr. Kengwanyane had it all wrong, that we're trying to create exponentiality. We want to grow, not just grow like this with this graph, 45 degrees or 30 degrees. No, we want this angle. I get it. We want the J-curve situation. Okay? I get it. Through continuous learning, that's the only way we can learn. And how many of you here have side gigs? By side gigs, I'm referring to what people call the hustlenyana on the side and things like that. By show of hands, who has a side gig? Don't be shy. Remember, God is always watching, guys. Oh, Kana, your bosses are here. And you're not supposed to have a side thingy. Isn't it changing now? Aren't the dynamics changing? Because I can seriously argue, and I seriously argue, that you cannot, in this time and age, grow exponentially to significant degrees if you do not have multiple sources of income. Definitely, you need to have more than one source of income. I get it. Am I not preaching to the converted? Am I? Okay, kind of you guys don't like lifting your hands, eh? I was speaking to Connect to Success, speaking to a bunch of 20-year-old entrepreneurs this morning. I asked the same question. Energy level was different. Hala, hala. Yeah, I'll tell you a little secret. What it does to a speaker if you don't give them energy, it just drains them. It's like you're... Guys, come on. Hala, hala. Even if I'm saying it wrong, you must say halal. Let me hit you with another joke at your expense. Please laugh, even if it's not funny. How many auditors does it take to change a light bulb? Answer. How many did it take last year? Very slow to change. Guys, that one I thought was funny. Okay, no. Nobody laughed, so let me hit you with another one. An auditor did an audit of the corner shop. He reported it has 4. Do you get it? Some of you will get it tomorrow. He's asked to do an audit of the corner shop. In the feedback, he says it is 4. You'll get it tomorrow. You're neighbor, please. So I cannot emphasize this one more strongly, the importance of investment and continuous learning. Okay? Staying ahead in auditing requires an open mindset and willingness to evolve in the field. So, and also, who said that auditing has to be boring? Okay, I have changed auditors over the years, and the general belief is that you have to change an auditor every 5 years. Otherwise, there's some kind of collusion or whatever that develops. So, over the years, as we change these auditors, I noticed one thing consistently throughout all these auditors. Unlike all the other professions, remember I have lawyers, I have technicians, and I have other professionals, including doctors and whatnot, within the company, electricians and whatnot. I noticed among the auditors, your suggestions, your recommendations, your views mean zilch. Then I asked the other auditor, what is this? No, it is part of the discipline of being an auditor, that you are not supposed to listen at the client. But I'm paying them 60,000 for an audit that takes a week. Surely I'm parting with hard-earned cash. Shouldn't they take into account my submissions? The only way that you can win, I was told, is that talk to the accountant, then your accountant will talk to the accountant within their company, and only then will that accountant talk to that auditor. I hope it's not still like that. Is it still like that? I know, but it's auditing. It's auditing. Are you saying you are totally hostile to external auditors? Okay, so you never meet anyway. Okay, all right. Now that explains a lot. Now, so what we've done, just continue on this point of I want to move to number 6 actually, mentorship and the power of positivity. Through this program, originally it was just a pastime because I'm the kind of guy who likes to talk. I said, what do I do to share these ideas that are piling in my head? We started this podcast, but then I discovered that it could be weaponized. It could be used. When people want to launch conferences, they come to us, they share what they're doing, and they're able to publish and promote their conferences. Not only that, when people come, like we've had 3 Forbes under 30, when they come and they want to let the public know about their businesses, they come to Mogobe Nuggets and they share. So it provides very, very unique mentorship opportunities through this podcast. And through these 2 programs that I mentioned, we aim to pass on the lessons that I've learned to the others. Because to me, I don't believe in taking it all to the grave, Bahaitsu. What is the point of acquiring all this knowledge, all this wealth, all these systems, all this money, and then you take it all to the grave, 6 feet down the ground? I believe that we have a responsibility to share it with our fellow human beings, and we use every opportunity to do that. Hence these mentorship programs, hence Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. Say, halala! So, auditors too must recognize the power of mentorship and continuous growth. With platforms like Microsoft Teams, we engage with mentees globally. Some of our mentees are even in South Africa and some are in Zambia. From the book, or some of you may have seen in my social media pages, I was invited to speak to 30,850 people last year at a massive stadium. I would never have gotten this opportunity to speak to so many people. I mean, I was terrified. My knees were going like this. But I was able to the point where I was told that my deliberations were successful. So what am I saying? I'm saying that we need to position yourselves on social media for growth. That is the only way that you can grow and grow significantly, especially if you adopt Kangwenya's 10x model. Auditors too must recognize the power of mentorship and continuous growth with these platforms. Positive thinking inspires the courage to lead and to teach others, ensuring that the profession continually evolves. Now, so number 7, the other thing is that you need to tell your story. If you listen to motivational speakers like Les Brown, they will tell you that it's very, very important to tell your story. Locally, there's a gentleman called Pastor Grace, David Grace. He also makes the same argument. So, in this regard, I've written a book, Nuggets of Grit. It embodies ideals of positivity, grit, and perseverance. In it, I recount the challenges I've overcome, serving as a guide to others to do the same. So, one message that I'm giving you, please write, Bahaitsu. Share your stories. I plan to publish it in Amazon Kindle for more people to access it. Just as auditors must ensure that they uphold the highest standards in governance and legal compliance, authors too and other professions need to do the same. So giving back, what do we do to give back? This one we have resolved because this is a biblical principle. This is also a basic Setswana principle. We know about the concept of mahisa. We know that it's very important that we should give back. What have we done? You'll find your own way, but at a spiritual level, you find that if you give, somehow, whatever you have multiplies, and you can multiply. So I don't want to seem as if I'm talking religion or but there's a power in giving. When I started my entrepreneurship journey in earnest, which around 2002, especially when I started focusing on property, I decided that I needed to focus on church building. What does it entail? I'm a 4th generation Seventh-day Adventist. So what did I decide to do? I decided to group with other Adventists and to start building churches. At the time, those of you who've been around long enough will know that there's a church by Ginger Sabata, which had been lying there sort of dormant for like 2 decades. So we took over that project. We started raising funds. I'm proud to say that I was one of the people who were involved in that exercise of fundraising and actually physically raising some of the bigger amounts in the group. And if I tell you that since we started with that Ginger Church, we've built 5 other churches. One of the most beautiful church is the one located in Pakalane there. I was glad that I was also instrumental in acquiring the piece of land. We bought it from another church belonging to some Afrikaner group, and then we built the Seventh-day Adventist church there. So, and that's when I can track my giving the same way as I can track the benefits that I've received. I won't mention numbers because I don't want to scare anybody, but we more than 10x'd in the space, in the 22 decades that we have been doing this, apart from the other activities. So part of developing that positive mental attitude means giving, because Rakongayana spoke about endorphins and talked about other things that happen in terms of what do you call it? It's not enzymes. What is it? What are endorphins? What are they? Hormones, yeah. So there's just something beautiful that happens when you give, and you give in a tangible manner. There was a time when I used to give in a way that I could never see the results of my giving. But I discovered that building something physical, in the same way as a piece of real estate, actually is something that you can grab and get hold of. In the same way, I decided that our method of giving should also be like that. So, and I'm saying this to try and encourage you. Okay? Hala, hala. And sometimes it's not what you give, and this is point number 8. I'm coming to the conclusion. It's how you give. You know, the Bible says the Lord loves a cheerful giver. It's actually important that you give with that heart where you are part of the community and contributing physically to the community. For auditors, a similar spirit of giving is there. So, and this is why I like the fact that one of your tenants talks of transparency, fairness, and accountability in the industries that you audit. Positive mental attitude, positive thinking drives ethical work. I spoke about the law firm already. I've covered that. This is how I used to be when I go to court. In fact, this is how I looked like when I went to court on Monday. And I'm sure your lawyer looks the same as well. Investment and continuous learning. This is a demonstration of how it actually looks like in real life. When you give, and you give positively, not necessarily with an expectation of return, but I tell you that serendipitously and through the universe, some people call it synchronicity. Somehow, when you give, it comes back tenfold. It comes back with greater quantities than when you give. I don't know whether this is something that auditors entertain, whether there's a column. Is there a column in your balance sheet that has to do with giving? Does it? Or is it just corporate social responsibility? So I think you have a responsibility to encourage your organizations to also give. If they are not giving, to give more as much as it's possible. And I'm sure that most of you have systems to do that. But I'm here to tell you that it's something that I applied in my life, something that I'm applying in the life of my company, and it's something that is delivering dividends. The last 2 points that I want to cover is one on leadership and vision. This one brings a bit of a smile to my face, because it may not show, but I'm royal blood. I've got blue blood in my veins. Why am I saying this? I'm a head man, and I've inherited that position from my father. And I actually can prescribe a beating and administer it in the kotla. And I've been known to do that. I'm not doing it now because I've found a regent who takes care of it. But there's something here that talks to the idea of leadership, where we are constantly looking for leadership models outside. Someone here, I think it was Resebetela, spoke of the fact that the quota system has been patented in the Netherlands by someone. I love the quota system. I've seen how the quota system works. As a student of mediation and arbitration, I believe that quota system embodies the highest level of arbitration in terms of how it works. Yeah, you can clap. It will reduce the butterflies, the nerves this side. But what I'm saying to you is that my leadership as a headman is deeply influenced by my father's teachings on resilience and vision. Okay? In Setswana we say, it's a very important saying. Loosely translated, it means you are your own creator. You create yourself. And then in Setswana also one of the famous idioms that our third president used to like sharing here, Mozoto, why is how okay? It is a very important leadership principle that is often mentioned in the Kotla. They will also say, Mahoko akotla amantle wotle. Okay? And lastly, Mwalebe wababu. Those are leadership principles or leadership ideas which are embodied in our culture that simply encourage the spirit of collaboration, the spirit of negotiation, the idea of continuous exchange of ideas and cross-pollination of ideas in the Kota. So in as much as we're embracing these technologies that enhance governance, we need to also safeguard the integrity of our systems. And I'm challenging you to find a way in terms of having that visionary thinking that goes with a positive mental attitude. I've spoken about this mentorship program, and how many of you here are mentoring younger people like you, than you? Or younger auditors, younger? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, if I'm invited back next year, and I don't know whether I will, having given those terrible jokes, but if I'm invited, back next year, I want to see more hands. Find who you can consciously mentor. The reward in yours, that's a fancy way to say, accrues to you. Often much more than it accrues to your mentors. I'll give you an example. I was walking down in Sandton City the other day, and I was walking across, moving towards the direction of that statue, Ahmadiba. And then I met 2 youngsters. I couldn't even quite get who they are. And then the 2 of them looked at me, and then one of them said, "It's him! It's him! It's him!" What have I done? Who is he referring to? And then when I got closer, I then discovered that this is someone I mentored about 6 years ago. It's him, it's him. Those multi-residentials that I've erected in Tlokweng, that are making me 20,000 a month. It's him. He gave me the tools. And then the number of lawyers, Borantau, Bokewahamang, people that I mentored, Gabo zeros. When we used to go to restaurants and, I used to teach these young lawyers. Some of them were not interested. I used to teach them about the basics of law. Today they come to me. Rantau comes to me and says, Mogobe, look at me. He's employing about 12 other lawyers and paralegals, and he's running one of the biggest law firms in the country. And he's one of many. So I'm here to urge you, auditors, more hands behind you. Start mentoring those who are coming up. They need it, and the benefit accrues to you. Believe me, directly or indirectly, it does. Don't ask me scientifically how it happens. I know you auditors want the audit trail. No, but it happens. I cannot prove it scientifically, but it happens, and I've seen it happen in my life. In conclusion, let me talk. Oh yeah, did I bore you enough about the book? Okay, I'm a salesman. I can't help myself. Who's going to get the book after this? Only $350. If the book expounds 10 times on what I shared here, why shouldn't you get it? Okay. You know what? About 20 yens went up, and then now I see only one. Let's try it again. Okay. No, my team is over there. They are ready, willing, and able. Only $350. This is the way it works. I give you the account number. The minute it says ding on my phone, I autograph the book and I give it to you. And there's only one condition. You have to give me feedback. You have to give it feedback. I mean, it's crazy. Sometimes it happens at the most awkward time. Like when I'm in a men's room or something, somebody calls, your book, did you go chapter such and such and such. It's good, it's rewarding. So, what is the message? The message is not just buy my book. The message is that be authors yourself, share your lessons. Don't go to the grave with those wonderful lessons. Okay? It will change the trajectory of our nation if we can inspire more and bring more along. I get it. Hey, I get it. Hey, I got it. I call it hala. Okay. My apologies if I'm boring you guys. I didn't intend to. But I suppose it's the time of the day. I get it. Sorry. Oh yeah, no. That response shows me you are listening. This is where you can contact me. I ask you to write down those details so that we can remain in touch. We're at Mogobe Plaza. We are soon to open a restaurant called The Ponds. We're always opening new businesses. In 2 months, we're opening 4 warehouses, which are going to be called Mogobe Industrial Park, Konkoa Piri. We're starting a 72-unit development by the university there, and we're doing more developments in Kanye. Because we are relentless, we are limitless, and we have grit. The things that I'm telling you about in terms of a positive mental attitude are things that I practice. We normally don't wait to have all the money. We normally don't wait to have everything, all the T's crossed and all the I's dotted before we start a project. If we get to 55%, we start. And let me leave you with this message. The reason we do that is that we have a governing principle. It says this, and I want you to say it after me before I sit down. Say after me. Never let perfection to be the enemy of progress. Once. Never let perfection to be the enemy of progress. Yeah, we need to work on that software a bit more. Thank you very much. I want to come back next year. Thank you very much. Oh, the website. Sorry, I forgot about the website. One thing, you go to this website, you'll never be bored. There's something for everyone. We run 14 companies. There'll be something for you. Okay, because our motto is to serve. I get it. Yeah. Thank you very much, Ma. Is it the same thing? Can I open? It's the same thing. Okay. Are there going to be any questions, or can I go down? No questions. Okay. Ke lebogile go menagane.